This I don't. Okay.
You look great.
I don't know what's happening. It feels like nothing.
If you could see her, she's just adjusting and readjusting, but ending up looking like the same perfection no matter what you do.
I couldn't get the headphones open. I had it's my first day here apparently. I don't know, but I do have my Columbo shirt.
Oh my
on,
God.
So.
Hi, Gillian Benzavali.
Hello, Patrick Hines.
Oh, fam. How's it hanging?
You know what? How you going, as they say in Australia? How you going?
How you going?
Yeah, how's it going? How are you? How are things out there in the world?
I'm good. Everything is good. It's getting a little bit warmer here in New York City. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I am really excited about this episode today.
You are? We did a last-minute switcheroo.
Yeah, because a listener told me about this new series on Sundance.
Yeah.
Also, welcome to the bonus eps.
Yeah. Hi,
everybody. Hi. Surprise. I think this is our 6th episode, but it's a show called Smugshot.
You heard about it on Instagram?
No, a listener emailed us, and this is the first episode. It's only like 4, I think maybe 5 or 6 eps. We're getting to them all.
Yeah.
This is but it's all just really entitled, white collar.
What is the title of the series, the show?
Smugshot.
Smugshot.
Because
I have
smug.
True Crime Story : Smugshot.
Yeah, I don't know where True Crime Story came from.
Okay, screw it. Forget it. True Crime.
Right?
Totally.
This episode it's the first episode. It's called The Revenge of the PTA Mom.
Oh my God.
This case was batshit crazy from the very beginning.
Everything about this is lunacy.
It was a shocking plot against the PTA president.
These are not my drugs. I'm not going to jail.
The amount of time they spent to ruin this woman makes no sense at all.
A couple so picture perfect, their wedding portrait was featured on TheKnot.com.
This couple had a complete breakdown.
She lied.
These two thought they were above the law.
This is when I needed someone, and you turned your back on me. And I will not survive this.
I always thought they would get away with it.
All right, we're in Irvine, California. We meet Kelly Peters. She's a PTA mom.
She's showing us around the old neighborhood.
The neighbors.
Super cute.
Yeah.
She loved it. She lived right across from the school. Let me tell you, Kelly loves the school. She loves being involved in the school.
Can I ask you a question? Does she have kids at the school?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, because I was like,
I
you would
wondered
assume
that myself.
She's a PTA mom. You'd think she'd have a kid at the school, but we never get that information.
Yeah, she's always going to the school to volunteer. She runs the after-school program.
Uh-huh.
She's like, yeah, I ran the Meet the Masters art program.
I want to know what that
bigs.
means. Do they get Picasso to come in?
They get Picasso to come in.
He came.
Every Wednesday.
He comes on.
Picasso
Picasso
shows
comes
up.
on Wednesdays.
Yep.
He is risen.
Picasso Wednesdays. Now, Beverly, the school secretary, is here. Beverly knows everything about everybody.
Beverly tries to come off as she's not a shit talker, but Beverly is 100%. I want to arrive at the Christmas party with Beverly,
right,
and I want to leave with Beverly.
Right, because she's going to the after party.
Yes, and I want to stand with her the entire time.
Right.
Otherwise, she's talking about me.
But what Beverly says is right.
Oh, always.
So Beverly is like, let me tell you about Kelly.
Yes.
We had a cool little place right across from the school, and I was super excited every day to come to the school and volunteer. Yeah, I ran the Meet the Masters art program and the after-school program, and I was on the PTA.
She was always willing to volunteer for everything. She could never say no.
Kelly was the first person to volunteer. She was always super excited about it.
Yeah.
And then we just get a tour of Irvine and about how lovely it is. Now, I'm pretty sure it's where the show Weeds was supposed to take place.
I had the exact same thought.
Now, it's a fictional town of Agrestic in Weeds, but they even say, you remember the song where it's
ticky-tacky, daddy,
the little houses
all
made
little
of
houses,
and all the houses look the same?
Yes.
Someone even says all the houses look the same.
They're cookie cutter. I had the exact same thought.
We learn Irvine.
Oh, you're going to say the same thing I'm going to say.
Allegedly doesn't have any liquor
stores or bars?
Wrong.
I'm not going there if that's the case.
I Googled it.
Okay.
I was like, that sounds like an egregious thing to say.
That can't be real.
It can't be real.
No.
It's not really.
Okay, good. Because, honestly, where is Beverly going on Friday night for happy? You know what I mean?
It's not known as a place where you can party.
Okay.
It's really family focused. I Googled a liquor store. There is a liquor store in Irvine.
That would be a thing that would make people not move to you can't go to a liquor store?
Yeah.
You're having a dinner
what is this,
party
Utah?
and you're going to drive to a neighboring town? town.
I don't know why that person said it the way she did with so much confidence. Like most of the bars are like in restaurants. You're not going to like. There's not like a Mulcahy's, a McGillicuddy's, a Pat O'Hallahan's or something,
or even like a Splash Mondays.
Right.
You know,
there's no
gay
lips.
bar.
There's no drag bars. But the point is, it's not like there's no water. There's no water.
Even though drag queens are very family friendly.
They are very family friendly.
Very.
The point is.
It's
I
can
very
talk about
family.
this one point
Yeah,
for 10 hours.
forever.
No bars or liquor stores.
It's all about
what is happening.
I know, but that's not right.
I know.
It's weird.
But
I was like, that can't be right.
I'm still traumatized from the notion.
It's like,
you know,
why even say that?
I know. It's not saying about your town what you think it's saying about your town. You know what I mean?
It's all about the kids on the bikes,
Yes.
the kids on the street, the kids on the sidewalks. It's all about the kids. Kids are everywhere.
Now,
it's a very safe place to live.
Yes, I can imagine. Also, Aunt Gillian is not passing through very often.
Well, I have no need for
and we
nice
were talking about
town
this
for a child.
No notes. Your child-free life. I'm very jealous.
It's pretty great.
I know it is.
My choices were made.
I know about the vacations you go on. I know about the restaurants you go to.
Yeah, after I had a 10-year span where I didn't take a vacation at all, and now I insist I take one a year.
You know, my biggest regret in my friendship with you and Mike is very early on, we were hanging out with Daisy, and Daisy and Mike just love each other.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you sure you guys aren't going to have kids? And you're like, no, we're really not. And I was like, but he's so good at it.
Yeah.
And I said it to him, and he goes, well, just because I'm good at it doesn't mean I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit. Sorry,
it's true.
Mike.
No,
I
but
know.
like we say
I know.
that all the time where it's
Yeah.
like sometimes, but it's just like,
It's like one of those things where somebody tells you that they don't want something, just let them not want that.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have no interest.
No interest. Anyway.
But anyway, I'm glad they have a very safe place to live in Irvine.
Yes.
I wish everybody well. I want everyone to be safe and sound.
I know. I just want a liquor store.
But everyone, literally every talking head we've met so far, they do a montage of like, it's safe, it's safe, it's safe, it's safe.
Yes.
It's very safe.
Yeah.
Now, Detective Mark takes us to where the crime occurred.
Yes.
Which is Plaza Vista Elementary School.
Yes.
And the cops show up and they ask for Kelly Peters, Miss Volunteer USA.
They asked for Beverly. They're like, Beverly, where's Kelly? Get her out here now.
Right now.
I want to point out, at this point, I don't know who to trust.
I don't know who to trust
You
either.
know
I'm
what I
like,
mean?
oh, Kelly, what's going on?
Kelly seems like, well, as we're going to find out, lots of people think Kelly could have done this.
Well, Kelly immediately is like, where's Bill?
Yeah.
Thinking about it's her husband. Because
Yes.
there's no reason the cops would be like, Kelly, get your ass outside now.
But of course, that's what a guilty person's going to say.
Right. But the cops are like, your husband's fine, lady. Get the keys to your car immediately. Stat.
Yeah.
She's like, they were very stern.
Very stern.
Now, by the time Kelly gets out to her car, Kelly notices that her car is surrounded by cops. Never a good sign.
And there's a helicopter circling. She makes a joke.
And I joked and said, is there a dead body in my car or something? And he stopped me. He said, I need you to stop talking.
Was there a dead body in my car? What's going on, fellas?
Detective Mark does not think it's funny.
The cops are like, ma'am, you need to stop talking. I'm not going to ask you again. We're not telling you again.
I know.
You need to shut your mouth.
But you know what would happen then? I would then start making more jokes, not to be obnoxious, but
Right.
just because I'd be terrified,
Yeah.
and that's what I do.
Like, oh, what do you mean, shut my mouth? I'll shut it for you, all right? And, verbally assaulting a cop. Yeah, great, hilarious. I'd be arrested in 2 seconds.
Oh,
so
my God.
Here's the reason the cops are there.
Yeah.
Someone called about a, quote, impaired driver on campus. Now, remember, this is an elementary school.
It's an elementary school.
This person reported
I
seeing
know.
Kelly put a bunch of drugs in the back of her car. She was driving with one hand on the wheel, literally
Yes.
throwing pills
Yes,
and weed.
marijuana. Like a huge bag of marijuana that they've used broccoli plant.
I know.
Broccoli florets
And now-
to like substitute for the marijuana in the reenactment.
Weed, I don't give a shit. Kelly, live
Of
your
course.
life, right?
Yeah.
And we learned she's a little bit of a hippie, like whatever.
But this is where the friends all turn on her because everyone's like, well, we love Kelly. She would never do. You know what? This actually does sound like something
And
Kelly
like,
might do.
you can't trust a single person
I
on this
know.
earth.
They go around.
People will turn on you in a
It's
second.
a round robin of people saying, I never in a million years thought Kelly could do. Actually, you know what? Now that
She
you're
does
mentioning it,
have that like hippie dippy bumper sticker.
it's one of
Now
the
that
ladies.
I'm thinking about
she's
it.
like, I could see her like leaving a bag of pot in the backseat of the car.
Ridiculous,
You
right?
know.
Now, weed, I don't care. But
Yes.
weed and a bunch of pills and like a pipe parked in a car at an elementary school, we might have a little bit of a problem.
And what's happening is that whether you think Kelly could have done this or not, the drugs are in her car.
Right. Someone called, and exactly what that person said they saw is now getting pulled out of Kelly's car.
They went in the pocket and started pulling out bags of pills. This was all of a sudden very serious.
Drugs in a car on campus during school hours are a big deal. In the bag, we found about 30 Vicodin pills, and then we found the second bag, which had about 10 pills in it, which later we found out were Percocet. At the time, to have those drugs without a prescription was a felony.
They're all in baggies. Like, she's selling.
And we see the evidence photo. Like,
What's
it's a
with the pipe?
huge fucking bag of pot. The pipe, I know. But they're not just taking it out of her car. They're taking it out of her car and then slowly and theatrically putting it on the hood of the police car.
At dismissal.
The timing is important. This is when the kids are going to be coming out. If she's got a kid that goes there, we'll never know. But if she does, the kid's going to see it. It's pickup. It's not just dismissal. It's pickup time. So the other parents are going to see the drugs being pulled out of the car. Kelly surrounded by cops. Full baggies of pills. They describe Kelly as being on her knees, sobbing, begging the cops to like put this shit away. Like, it's not mine.
And please don't arrest her. And even when Kelly is saying it now, she's so mortified. And she's like, I'm just begging them, like, please don't do this in front of everyone.
Listen,
I didn't do this. Like,
I don't know. I mean, every single person who's ever met Kelly just said on second thought, Kelly might totally do this.
You know, once there's a camera in your face,
imagine?
people will flip on you in a second. You can't trust anybody in this
You
world.
don't trust nobody.
You can't trust anyone.
No.
People will turn on you in a heartbeat just because Sundance came with a couple of cameras to ask you a question about your friend.
I said to somebody the other, I can no longer say I don't trust people anymore. All I can say is I know trust in nobody.
I know trust in nobody.
And I with a long O. I know trust in nobody.
I know trust in nobody.
You know,
Look.
I can only say it like that.
So they give her a drug test.
Well, they haul her back inside the school.
Right.
And I'm saying haul.
Yeah.
And they put her in a conference room, and she says a drug test and a drunk test.
Right. And she passed with flying colors, which means that she's completely sober.
Yes.
They're like, I don't buy it.
I know.
I still don't buy it.
Yeah.
Now, Kelly's like, go search my house then. Like,
Yes.
I didn't do anything. They don't find anything to link her to the drugs. Then they're just like,
They asked me questions, the same questions over and over again. Do you think your husband's having an affair? Do you think that maybe he planted him? I was like, what? Why would you even say that?
your husband's cheating on you, right? He's a lying, cheating bastard. That has to do with this. He's stepping out on the side.
100%.
Come on, be honest with us, Kelly. And she's like, why are you being rude now?
Kelly.
Like, no one's cheating on me. I didn't do this. Like, where is this coming from?
Can I just take a quick second here to say, Kelly is the mom that everybody wants to have at their school.
Yes.
Assuming she's got a kid there,
She's
we
the
don't
person,
know. Yeah,
I guess.
exactly.
The volunteer.
We were sitting in our apartment the other night, and Daisy said something about her friend Colin's mom. And I looked at her and I was like, do you know that your friend Colin's mom, Katie, we are so lucky to have her? Katie,
nice.
I'm not going to say her last name, but Katie is the woman who, or on every day that the school is off for any reason, she organized a play date for the kids. And the text goes out to everybody and she's like, you don't have to come and I can pick up all the kids and I'll make all the plans. This woman is such an angel on earth that she does this for the family.
That's so nice.
It's unreal. And so I'm just saying to the parents out there who do that, because I'm not that parent.
Yeah.
Like, I see you, I love you, and I support, and I'm so grateful for you.
How nice is that?
I know. It's unbelievable. Anyway.
So they're like, he's cheating on you, and that's the drugs or whatever. But then they ask the age-old question.
Yep.
Kelly, do you have any enemies? And Kelly's like, no, like, this is crazy. I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
And then the principal's like, Kelly, wait.
Principal Heather chimes in.
You know, you do have an enemy. You're not remembering. What about Jill and Kent Easter? And then she said, oh my gosh, it's been exactly a year. It's been exactly a year. Well, I have an enemy. I guess I do have an enemy.
It's been exactly a year.
Like a year to the day.
First of all, to forget your enemies, a fucking unbothered queen. Everyone oh, right, I have enemies. Be as unbothered as Kelly. I fucking love that.
I love Kelly, and I think she is an unbothered queen. But like when we learn the hell that these people put her through, you don't forget that.
You don't forget that, Kelly.
You don't forget that.
Call me, girl. We'll have a conversation.
And you don't forgive nobody.
You don't, look.
You don't forgive nobody.
You forgive, you forget, but you never let it go.
Yes.
Okay?
Great.
So this is why this series is like, we've never done this. It's unprecedented.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Jill and Kent Easter, who are these motherfuckers, right?
Yep.
Now, on screen text, we reached out to Jill and Kent Easter for an interview. They did not respond.
Yes. We see a lady clomp onto the set.
Like sliding and clicking.
She's
and
clomping like a
dragging her
Clydesdale.
heels.
Yeah.
Now, at the bottom of the screen, it says, comments made by the actors are solely the actors' interpretation of the role and their opinions about Jill and Kent. Never in my life. We've been doing this for 7 years.
I know.
We've watched hundreds of episodes and documentaries.
We've seen this once before.
But the whole, like, if they're talking shit, that's on them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just their opinions.
Yes.
Because they're having, so basically what happens is we see these auditions of these actors auditioning for the roles of Jill and Kent.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what the hell they were told about these people, but they hate Jill and Kent Easter.
And it's great because we get like the lines that like from testimony or things that we know that they said, these actors are saying. Do you remember we saw this in Client Number 9, the Elliot Spitzer documentary, where the woman who was the sex worker, like halfway through, they reveal she's an actor.
She's an actor,
And it's fucking brilliant.
Because we get like a bunch of montages, and at one, they just sort of like let them improvise as Jill and Kent. And at one point, it's like, oh, what year is this? Oh, she wouldn't have had that app. Okay, let me. But it's like, so we see this audition montage, and this audition montage is how we learn about Jill and Kent Easter.
Yes. And did you notice that one of the actresses looks just like Megan Hilty?
Yes, I did. In the pink.
At first, I thought it was Megan Hilty. I was like, Megan, what are you doing?
So here's what we learn about Jill and Kent Easter through this montage of these auditioning actors, which is just a genius way to kind of shake things up a little bit.
Oh, she definitely wears the pants.
She's the boss, and I just can't say no to her.
We eventually decided we wanted to have a family. We moved back down to Irvine.
It's the best place to raise kids.
They have fantastic schools. I had to stop practicing, of course, because I just felt like I couldn't really devote all my attention to anything but my kids.
They want to start a family, and because Irvine, according to this episode, is the best place on earth to raise a child.
No, not a liquor store in sight. Not a bar or a liquor store.
This is where someone else says it's the best place to raise kids. I don't know anything about Irvine.
I know.
I don't know if it's good or bad.
I'm sure it's wonderful.
I'm sure it's
It looks
great.
Beautiful.
But someone's like, my town's the best place to raise kids.
Yes.
So Jill always looked and acted perfect. Very polished, This is Jill's favorite part of the episode if she's watching it, because all everyone is saying is that not beautiful. A hair out of place.
It's true.
Everyone knew Jill was in the room, but probably not for the best reason.
No, but like, my big note here is like, this just sounds exhausting. I've just recently started wearing tinted moisturizer to cover up some imperfections. And I got to tell you, I kind of dread getting out of the shower. Just putting on tinted moisturizer is a lot of work. I don't understand these people who are primping and prodding themselves for hours every day to go to like school drop off.
You would hate my skincare routine.
Yeah. Do you like it?
I do. It's a very sort of meditative self-care thing, but I've been doing it for so long. But just the amount of
time.
Yeah, it's not that. It's pretty simple because I just don't. But like you see me when I show up to meetings, you're like, why is your face shiny? And I'm like, it's moisturizer, baby. I live in moisturizer.
Oh my God. I've been doing this thing with these really sharp and violent snorts lately.
You hear it? You feel it?
It's
are
like
you
all
okay?
through the sinus
I feel
cavities.
like you need water after that.
Maybe.
Like, are you okay? Also, I said forgive, forget, never let it go. You don't have to forgive or you don't have to forget. You can just move on.
Yeah.
I just want to put that caveat
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Okay, great. Jill's favorite part of the episode.
Yes.
It's like Jill had a ton of money. Jill was they say the pants in the relationship, which is so fucking
we don't
stupid.
say that.
But she was just like a steamroller, and she's like, you're goddamn right, I was.
What's amazing, like what's crazy, because what you're picturing is Laura Dern from that show that you
Big
love.
Little Lies.
Yeah, who like, she was not a nice person, but she was a boss. This is not what Jill is like.
No.
We see Jill later,
fake.
and at the very least, she is an unstable person. She's the kind of person that you would meet her and be like, she's beautiful, but I'm staying out of her way.
She's very intense.
Yes.
So Ken was a lawyer and a partner. He made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Jill studied to be a lawyer, but she gave
it up to stay at home. Yeah.
And so someone says Jill was always very concerned about her kids. I'm like, oh, so she was the annoying mom.
Yeah.
Because then the principal's like, well, all parents in Irvine are intense, so Jill wasn't that different.
Yes.
But it's at a level of the Big Little Lies moms were very much like invested in their kids, but it was all very intense.
It's why I'm so grateful that Daisy goes to the school that she goes to, because all the parents are invested and they are involved, but in a very supportive way, because all of our kids have different challenges.
You just want your kids to like do well.
That's it. None of
it's not about you.
Right. And none of the parents are worried about like the kid being the top of the class.
Oh,
it's
God,
just we just want to make sure that they learn how to read. That's it.
I'm so fucking tired.
I know. We should point out that Jill and Kent's son is in first grade. He's a first grader.
Yeah. So, but one of the lawyers,
I described her to the jury as someone who was highly educated, entitled, vindictive, and capable of doing almost anything.
I've never seen someone like Jill Easter. You know, someone you read about but would never believe actually exists.
you read about people like her and you don't think they actually exist. They do, girl.
That is a wild statement to have somebody say that about you. Like, you're the kind of person you read about, but you don't actually think exists.
And Jill's the kind of person who's like, you're goddamn right.
Yeah. Yes.
She agrees.
100%.
She wears it like a badge.
Yep.
So it's, those people are the worst. So the day of the crime, the thing is, this is not a mystery, this show. We're just going to figure out why Jill and Kent Easter did this to Kelly.
Exactly.
But
so they are the ones who planted the drugs.
Right. Like, it's a given,
Kelly
right?
didn't do it.
Now, my question is, like, where'd they get the pills and the pipe
Well, because especially like they're very
lawyers.
high-powered lawyers. They know people. They've got a lot of clout in town. So it's kind of like those are the kind of people that want eyes on them at all times, but then get away with shit
She's
like
also
this.
the kind of person who would like get a prescription to Vicodin, take one, and hoard them in case she needed to frame somebody.
I thought, because I was
Do you
like,
know
wait,
what I
you're
mean?
describing me until you got to the frame somebody?
No, she'd be like, I can use these one day.
Yeah.
That's an exhausting way to live, too. To just
I
be
took
like,
Vicodin one time and I was like, I hate this so much. I will never do this again.
that was my experience with OxyContin. When I was like,
God.
Cotton.
They don't even prescribe that anymore. It's impossible to get.
Yeah, they gave me Oxys when I was like 17.
Yep.
And I was so sick. I had nightmares about flying snakes.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't, I had to be in one position, or even if I moved, my shoulder, I'd be like, I have to throw up. And I was like, Mom, I don't want these. I was a teenager.
I was
like,
so fucked up on Vicodin that I was like, no, thank you.
why are they giving Oxys to a 17-year-old kid?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
I know.
The point is, I got rid of them. Jill would keep them in case she needed them one day.
Yes.
This is the kind of person we're dealing with.
So this is the crime that Kelly committed that made Jill, and what's his name?
Kent.
I want to call him Elliot. I don't know why. He looks a little like Elliot Spitzer, I guess.
Because you just talked about Client 9.
No. So this is what Kelly did to Jill's son that made Kelly eventually and ultimately plant drugs in Kelly's car.
And make her life a living hell for you.
Yes.
This is 1 year before the day of the crime, exactly. 1 year exactly.
So Kelly's job at the school is that our school has a person who does this too. They match the kid to the parent. They're making sure the kid is being picked up by the parent or guardian or whoever is picking them up that day. That is Kelly's job.
Right.
And I get the sense that there's the lower school that's kind of in one building where she has to go get the kids and then walk them to the front of the school, which means you're like there's a point where you're outside.
Yeah.
And if all of the kids aren't together, then one of the kids can get left behind and then Kelly goes back and gets that kid and brings him to the parent. It's it happens all the time.
Okay, good. Because I was like, okay.
It's a little confusing, but essentially Kelly goes downstairs to get the kids and Jill's kid gets left down there because he's helping the teachers.
I guess he was banging on the back door, crying. And then the teacher saw him, and the teacher walked him around to the front of the school. And Jill got very upset, the fact that her son was so upset.
Well, what happens is Jill is late picking up Luke.
And Jill is late.
And she came inside looking for them nicely, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sarcasm. And Beverly's like, well, most of them are gone because you're late. That's how late you are. But let me get Kelly and see what's going on because Kelly's in charge. So Jill was late first, number one.
Yes.
Now, because Kelly was running the after-school program, she's on top of it. Kelly is the place to go if you're a late parent looking for your kid.
Yes.
Now, she explains with this whole thing, she's leading the kids through the school. And if you don't come with her the first round, the door would lock.
Right, because you're coming from school safety, school shooters, all of that, doors lock.
Right,
so if you have to go through a courtyard to get somewhere, if you're not with the teacher with the key, you're going to get locked out. And Kelly is explaining this is normal. I would do the first round of the kids and some kids hang back
Kids
and then I go
stragglers or
Yeah,
whatever.
I go back and I get the rest of the kids. And this happens all the time at Daisy's school.
Okay. The point, good. I have no idea about any of this.
Yeah.
So the point is, Jill's kid, Luke, got locked outside. He was banging on the door and crying to be let in. And a teacher was like, oh, hey, son, come on in, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, no matter what happened, Jill is the wrong parent to piss off.
Yes.
I get the sense that if this happened to any other kid, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Right, because Kelly says this happens all the time.
And even Beverly is like, they're kids. They're gonna get distracted. They're gonna whatever.
Yes.
Now, Jill's son is upset. Fine. Jill is upset that her son is upset.
Yes.
And instead of trying to diffuse the situation, she starts screaming at Kelly. Now, Kelly wants to talk to Jill outside and try to diffuse the situation. And by that, Kelly's like, I just stood there and took it.
She's like, as a representative of the school, this is why I'm like, do you have a kid? Are you because I'm like, if a parent at Daisy's school came at me like that, it would, Kelly's being very polite and taking it. That's not what would happen with me.
Right. As she's a volunteer.
Right.
Whatever.
If we're all on equal footing, because our kids all go to this school, but anyway.
You shouldn't be screaming at someone anyway.
That's the point.
So Kelly finally is like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm ending the conversation. And now Kelly made a mistake that day.
Did she?
She didn't. I'm just saying, how I'm saying this.
Yeah.
She said something that Jill thought was a criticism of her kid.
I made the mistake that day of telling Jill that her son was slow lining up.
So it was just that he was slow in getting to the door, like a straggler, like lots of kids are. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, Jill Easter took that to mean that she was calling her son slow, dim-witted, and that's what set it off.
Jill decides to take it to mean that Kelly is insulting her son and calling him, quote, dim-witted.
Right.
She saw an opportunity and jumped at it. Let's be honest.
100%.
She doesn't actually think Kelly was calling her kid stupid. She went, aha.
Yes.
Now that's why I saved all this Vicodin. I was waiting for someone to cross me. I have an opportunity to make an explosion happen.
Yes.
Oh, you better believe I'm taking it.
Yes. And so the next day, Jill comes in, demands to speak to the principal. Can you
Storms
imagine?
into the principal's office.
Yes, and she says she wants Kelly fired from her volunteer job, and the school says absolutely no way.
Take a walk.
And they do a proper investigation because of course they do, and Kelly is completely cleared of any wrongdoing.
Yeah. And so Jill is causing a scene, and let me tell you, she's just getting started.
Yes.
Because when the school's like, no, girl, like we investigated and you're causing a scene, like we're not, Kelly is like a valued member of our community, blah, whatever they said.
Yeah.
Jill's like, okay, she starts a campaign against Kelly.
Literally a smear campaign against Kelly.
She's handing out flyers in front of the school. People need to be warned about Kelly Peters. She's despicable. Your children aren't safe until Kelly Peters is out of here.
Like, can you imagine?
All Kelly wants to do is help these kids and volunteer.
Yes.
She loves her job.
She's volunteering at this school.
And she goes, every day there'd be like some new bizarre thing that happened to me.
Yes.
And every day the Easter, their last name's Easter. The Easters made it worse and worse and worse.
The Christmases
made it. The flag days.
The President's Days.
So the school was like, no, girl. And they were like, fine. So they went to the superintendent who was like, no. And they were like, fine. So they go to the state of California.
The state of California.
Jill files a false police report
Yes.
saying Kelly was harassing her son.
Yep.
Then, and the more people said no to Jill, the more enraged she became.
Yes, 100%.
So now her husband is still a practicing lawyer.
Kent.
She gets him to file a lawsuit, and she's hiring a private eye against Kelly. It's like all you're going to see Kelly doing is volunteering and living her life with her poor husband, who the cops thought was cheating on her, and he's not.
The thing about the filing of the lawsuit is it's so fucked up because they're lawyers.
The fact that she was an attorney scared me. I believe there were already 3 lawsuits happening.
You don't want to mess with 2 attorneys, of course.
I mean, legal fees are expensive. When you go up against a powerful lawyer, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars to defend yourself.
They know that somebody like Kelly does not have the money to fight a lawsuit. So, like, they're scaring the shit out of her.
It's like that guy. Sorry, it's like that guy from the Christmas fight, where he was a lawyer and he can just speak legalese to them and sort of intimidate people.
He can make legal filings all day long for free because it's his job. And
that guy's a nightmare. Remember him?
Yes.
I hope that wife left him. I hope you're free.
I know.
I felt so.
The worst.
The worst.
But Jill also files a restraining order against Kelly for, quote, trying to kill her.
But that didn't happen.
No.
And she didn't harass her son either. Because now I'm like, okay, now we've reached insanity.
Yes.
This isn't just someone who wants drama. This person is unhinged because this is not reality.
No.
Nothing she's saying is real. And this is dangerous.
And it's also just like, why? Like, I don't understand. Like, what was the cardinal sin that Kelly committed that made this woman decide she had to ruin her life?
She didn't bow down to Jill.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
.
She deigned to say that maybe some 9-year-old kid or 6-year-old kid or whatever was like a little distracted.
Right.
Like a kid was being a kid. And Jill, you were an hour late.
Right, exactly.
So no one can look at Jill and what she did wrong. It's got to be, now it's a big campaign against Kelly because Kelly didn't bow down to Jill. That's what we're dealing with here. But now she's not in reality, Jill.
Right. Yeah.
This whole, you can't, she's filing false police reports.
Yes.
Lawsuits about Jill. That's a huge accusation. It didn't happen.
So now we meet Chris Duff, the former deputy district attorney.
No one hates these people.
More than Chris.
He hates them more than Kelly does.
Exactly.
Because he says the Easters systematically tried to destroy Kelly Peters.
They say not only was there no indication that any of these allegations were true, he says they even obtained an email from Jill to her husband Kent saying the following. She wants to A, exhaust the criminal code for charges against Kelly. B, I want to do a background check on Kelly Peters. C, I want to
serve her while she's at school tomorrow. I want to include a settlement agreement, which states she cannot volunteer in any position that would put her in a school.
Kelly Peters is not nice. It's all a facade.
Why are we letting this no one abuse our son and then trash our family? Why?
Why are we letting this no one abuse our son and then trash our family with 800 exclamation points?
And then why? With exclamation points. Now, Jill, the option is you can just fuck off and never talk to Kelly again.
Exactly.
The option, you don't have to do this.
Exactly.
Especially because it's not based in reality.
And especially because everybody at the school is saying, what you think happened didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Why aren't you, why can't you listen to reason?
Now, I wonder why and maybe maybe they did, but why the school isn't taking action that a parent is systematically trying to destroy a volunteer's life. Very loudly. She's going to the state, the superintendent.
And because there are people we're going to learn after school who believe what Jill is saying.
We'll get to that in a minute. That always fucking happens. So the stress, of course, is taking a toll on Kelly. And then out of nowhere, she wakes up one day and like everything went quiet.
Because she's saying like, I'm just a normal person. And like almost every day I'm waking up to some new catastrophe.
Right. And she's like, maybe Jill moved on. Like maybe she realized that the state of California isn't going to rake me over the coals. Like maybe it's okay now.
Yes.
So now,
but she also says, but I knew it was too good to be true.
It's too good to
I know something is wrong.
No, they never give up, Kelly. It's the day of the crime, right? The police get a phone call about all these drugs. And the caller, we're going to get into the caller now.
And we hear the actual call. We hear the 911 call.
And they immediately say, I think it's one of the volunteers, which is both specific and vague at the same time.
Yes.
And they're driving erratically. And the caller is being volunteered a lot of information without being asked.
Yes.
Like, oh, there's this bumper sticker, like only for the groovy. And I'm like, Kelly, you're such a little hippie.
That's why everybody thinks you're a pothead, Kelly.
Right. But also, like, if you see something like that, aren't you supposed to give details?
Yes.
Like, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
I know. I'm with you, but like the dispatchers are saying the call sounds suspicious for a number of reasons.
But I'm saying that alone. If I like recognize a bumper sticker, it doesn't mean I'm framing the person.
No.
It's just like, here's an identifying thing on the car.
I think that's like the normal stuff. What they're saying is like the call sounds scripted. Also, the caller is going back and forth between having a quote Indian accent and
name.
name. Yes.
And also, they had a year to plan this, and this is what they come up with.
I know.
You idiots.
I know.
Stay stupid, everybody. So let's talk to the dispatcher. Her name is Yvonne.
Yes.
She immediately clocked this as suspicious.
Yeah.
And one of the lawyers is like,
It seemed scripted. It seemed like somebody was faking an accent. They'd kind of go back and forth between having an accent and not having an accent.
And what's your last name?
Chandrasekhar.
How do you spell that?
CHANDRASEKHR.
but the name he used is Jay Chandrasekhar, who is an actor from the Broken Lizard comedy group. They're the guys who did like Super Troopers.
Oh.
So he's like a fan of Super Troopers and using an actor, not the character's name, like the actor's name.
Like a real, like, because if I'm thinking if I just.
Who's an Indian guy?
Exactly. If I just framed somebody and if I get caught doing that, I'm going to lose my license, I'm going to lose everything. I would just say I'd prefer to remain anonymous. Thank you.
It's just
Why are you giving like a famous actor's name?
It's just
my name is, it's Hanks, Tom Hanks.
Right, Tom Hanks.
You know.
Like, what are you talking about?
It's Kevin Bacon. It's Bacon.
It's with a C. Everyone thinks. Right. No E.
No E. It's, yeah. Yeah.
And I know that, like...
Sedgwick. It's Kevin Bacon.
K-Y-R-A.
Sedgwick. It's a hyphen.
It's a hyphen.
We're a progressive family.
But it's not like, I know, I'm sure the people who love the Super Troopers, guys, like, fucking love them.
Uh-huh.
But they're not a Hanks.
Right.
They're
or
not
a Bacon
Sedgwick.
Yeah.
You know, they're not a Bacon Sedgwick. They're not a Hanks Wilson.
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
Don't you mess with Rita Wilson.
I know. They're not a DeVito Perlman. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're still taking a risk by saying, like, what?
Yeah.
Because you have to, like, report the name. And that's exactly what happened. Like, they Googled this guy's name and this actor came up. And they're
not
like...
a Lopez Affleck.
Not a Lopez...
I could do this all day. So, not a Witherspoon Philippi. Do you know what I mean?
They're not together anymore.
I know. Thank God.
Thank God. Witherspoon stands on her own.
I know.
She's so good. So the cops are like, this is a fake phone call.
Yeah.
We need to get to the bottom of this. But here's what this...
I do just want to say that I just love that Yvonne, the dispatcher, is here to be like, you know what? Can I talk for 2 minutes?
I knew it from the jump.
I know. I really, this is like enough
In
is
and out
enough.
of the accent. Offering information I didn't ask. I couldn't take notes fast enough. He's telling me all this that he knew was a volunteer. Nobody asked you about a volunteer. What are you talking about? So, but Kent made the phone call, obviously.
Yeah.
Kent Easter.
Yeah.
Kent Easter. So Kent, what he did was he didn't call 911.
Tracing the 911 call turned out to be very challenging.
Irvine, please.
The call came into our front desk, and because of that, we actually didn't get the incoming phone number. We had to search warrant our own phone company to get the call that came in. It's crazy because he's smart, he didn't call 911.
We had to issue a warrant to our own phone company, but it was Ken Easter. We figured it out.
Right. The point is he called the front desk rather than 911. So in his mind, he thought they couldn't trace the call.
They traced it. It just took him 2 more days.
It took him 2 more days.
So that is the last maybe smart thing these people do because we're about to go on a journey, everyone. It was the last time picking up the phone call and being like, maybe not 911, but I am going to use the name of that actor.
Don't.
And I'm going in and out of the accent, Jill. Come on.
I know.
Every year we go where you want to go on vacation.
I know.
Every night we're watching your shows. I'm doing the accent, Jill.
The actor is not a Cruz Holmes, but God damn it, but
thank God she got out, huh? Kidman too. So
I know.
They finally traced the call to the Island Hotel in Newport Beach. We get the video. Obviously.
Yes.
We see Ken Easter clear as day.
Well,
we were able to pinpoint the suspect.
The best part about that is that they know it's Ken Easter, but they need somebody to corroborate it. For some reason, they show it to Beverly, the secretary. Remember her?
Oh my God, that's him.
From the top of
She knows everybody about everybody.
She
She's
is
like,
laughing so hard. She's like, it is so obviously Ken Easter. Why they went to Beverly? They're like, who's really going to know? Beverly.
She's like, I didn't think it was going to be today, but I knew one day you'd be showing me video and I'd be saying it's those goddamn Easters. I knew it. When you see someone scream at Kelly in the parking lot for an hour, one day I'm going to be saying, picking them out of a lineup. I promise you.
Totally. Beverly. I just love that they went to Beverly for the corroboration.
Beverly knows all.
Oh, Beverly.
So they track him throughout the hotel. The cop's like, he walked into the front doors on foot. I'm like, yeah, thank you. I don't think he drove through the hotel lobby.
He wasn't like on a scooter.
He's holding a notepad. He brought his Jill had notes.
I know.
He brought his little notepad.
Right.
He had his little script with him.
Yeah.
He improvised the thing. He didn't tell Jill he was doing the
going
accent.
off script. Yeah.
He didn't tell her about the accent because she wouldn't do it.
No. Yeah.
There's no way that is Jill approved.
No.
No way. No way. Has little notes. And he used the business center in the hotel and he called the Irvine PD their direct line, not 911. Whatever. Yes. So
that was like in red and underlined per Jill. Call the direct line. Do not call 911.
Yeah.
And here's the number. Yeah.
So turns out.
This is a photo of the Island Hotel. Ken Easter's law firm was in this building.
I mean, he had offices in Fashion Island in Newport Beach. It's kind of an ivory tower.
Right outside of his office? I mean, my goodness, who does that?
Kent Easter had an office next door to this hotel. He walked half a block to get to this hotel.
Beverly goes right outside his office. Who does that?
I know.
Beverly's got all the opinions.
And so the cops say to us, these two are going to be real hard to arrest because they're both lawyers. We had to put a lot of thought into how we're going to get them. And I'm like, what an interesting thing to say out loud.
I know.
Interesting thing to say out loud, law enforcement. What an odd, interesting thing you just said.
But you know what, though? It is true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you would think that, like lawyers know how to get away with shit.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't lie to a lawyer because lawyers know their rights.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like what an interesting thing to say out loud. I don't think they heard themselves say it.
So I get what you're saying. You're saying that like law enforcement,
we can't just haul them in and lie to them.
Right, exactly.
We got to actually play by the book here, and it's going to be a little hard.
They're literally, he says we're working 50 to 20-hour days trying to figure out how to question.
A lot of work went into this. A lot of work. 2 lawyers? What are we going to... We're one police force. 2 lawyers? God. Usually we get 1.
Yeah. Oh, God.
So they finally
The good old days that people like coming into a police department without an attorney. Remember that?
And asking like, do you want to ask me about my missing wife? I don't have a lawyer. I just walked right in.
Do you have any questions? My wife is missing and my time is not accounted for.
I can buy you lunch.
I know.
They were like, what? So they finally questioned Kent Easter. And they're like, come on, Kent, you're a smart guy.
Well, they track him down in a parking garage.
After
surveilling him for days, they learned his patterns.
Right.
He parks his car every day, this guy.
So he denies everything, but the cops are like, he locked himself into a lie, which is great because we just have to dismantle this whole thing.
Is great. Yes. Yeah.
But these 2 dummies, these idiots that the cops were so scared of because they're lawyers.
They had their cell phones rather than using any type of burner cell phone.
We could see that they were calling each other during the early morning hours. We could also see that their phones were pinging off of towers next to Kelly Peters' residence. So this is the apartment complex that Kelly lived in. It actually happened at about between 2:30 and 4:30 a.m.
But at one point, one of the cops is like, some crooks might have used burners or left their phones at home, but not the Easters. They use their actual logged-in phones. So what happened is the Easters, in the middle of the night, well, first of all, somehow acquired 40 pills, 10 pounds of weed, and a pipe that no one is talking about again.
You don't just think that Jill just went to the closet and got her stuff?
I'm telling you. She hoarded that in case she needed it.
Totally.
I'm telling you.
You're right about that.
This is how this person's operating.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case.
She never knows who's going to cross her. And Kelly walked right into it. She found an opportunity and Kelly just happened to be there. If it wasn't going to be Kelly, it was going to be someone else.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yes.
So the prosecutor's like, as a lawyer, can I just say, I am personally offended by this. As Sheriff from Clueless would say, I think it's a travesty on the part of the legal profession.
Yes.
Because he's like, these are two lawyers who are too dumb. They're not even buying burner phones.
Yeah.
I just have to say, we're not even there yet. This gets even more wild and more off the rails. We're not even at the hot firefighter yet.
I know.
We're not even at the hot piece of ass firefighter. We haven't even, he's coming. Whoa, he will be here shortly. So everyone, can't even say this with a straight face.
He'll be here shortly. Oh, God.
Meanwhile, Kelly's like, I want to get my teaching credentials. I love this school so much. I want to be a sub. And the school is like, you get us that credential. You were hired yesterday, girl.
I know.
Everyone loves her. And the producer's like, so did that happen? And Kelly goes, no, girl, drugs were planted in my car instead. And I'm like, Kelly's got jokes.
Kelly.
You got to laugh.
You gotta
laugh through
we
it.
We do not know if Kelly has a kid in this school.
No.
You know what I mean?
Jill Easter, in her infinite wisdom, goes on Dr. Phil and says everything and nothing at all. And then I'm like, oh, she's an idiot, too.
I know. And I will say that
Can you tell me one thing she said? It's word salad. Did she say anything?
The only thing, so she literally said,
do you hold her responsible for not properly supervising and protecting your son?
I'm not even sure it was negligence.
What do you mean?
I think it was purposeful.
What would be her motive?
She would have to answer that.
Has she admitted to planting the drugs? We don't know.
I guess so, yeah.
All she's there to say is, I think Kelly locked my son out on purpose and traumatized him. And Dr. Phil's like, what would the motive for that be? Why would Kelly have done that? She goes, you'd have to ask her.
You'd have to ask her.
She just wanted to be on camera.
She wanted to be on camera.
That's
Shut
all.
up, Jill.
I know.
Now, the sad thing is, though, no matter how crazy something is, people will believe it. Look at Alex Jones, right?
Yes.
Or some kind of and people just being mad.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe
they're low information consumers. They see one thing one time and they decide that's the truth.
Or Jill's the loudest person in the room.
Also that.
So, and people might be a little bored in Irvine. I don't know. How many after-school programs can you really get your kid in?
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
So, I just think of the Alex Jones of it, too. Where it's just people are like, that's crazy. It must be true. This is the worst thing I've ever heard. Oh, my God, it's true.
Yeah.
And then, here we go, right?
Because it gives them an identity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you, you jump on the bandwagon of wanting this, quote, horrible woman to stop volunteering at the school, then suddenly you've got 10 new friends.
And Kelly was always a little too nice. Let's not get down a peg,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
So Kelly didn't do anything wrong, but there are parents at school who are believing Jill.
Yes.
I would be out walking my dogs and someone would yell out the window, "We don't want you at the school anymore."
And then after the drug planting, there was a whole year before the Easters got arrested. So Kelly and her family were living in fear. What on earth are these crazy people gonna do to us next?
There's an entire year that people don't have any information other than that Kelly got arrested for having drugs in her car.
And also she's this screaming at Jill and wants to kill Jill and she's harassing her son. But that's a very scary year for Kelly and her family.
Absolutely. I mean, for Kelly to stand her ground and stay at the school while not being able to say anything, hats off to you, Kelly.
Which means that we must not be hearing things about how the school had her back.
Yes.
Because she's saying, what are they going to do in the meantime? Who else is going to flip on me and betray me and then believe this family with and there's nothing I can say or do? What's going on?
Yep.
Everyone, listen to this.
I know.
Jill wrote a book.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Jill
self-published.
Holding House. It's like a sexy novel about this MMA fighter who gets involved in some kind of stupid drug scheme, and it's all about trying to commit the perfect crime, and it gets better.
I know.
Because Kent Easter did the voiceover for the trailer for the book. I'm like, the what for the what? And also, shout out to Tom, our editor, because this trailer is mixed so badly.
Yes,
you can barely hear Kent's voiceover because the music is so loud. I was like, someone doesn't have Tommy to edit.
I know. Also, Jill's nom de plume.
Her pen name?
Yeah, it's Ava
Bjork. Girl, you can never.
Never.
I don't have the right underwear for this. then take them off.
The crime is shockingly simple and 100% possible. No one will get hurt, and there's no way they can get caught.
And they posted it on YouTube. When? The day after they planted the drugs in Kelly Peters' car.
The day after they planted the drugs in Kelly's car.
Yes.
So the prosecutors feel like they have enough to file the case.
Yes.
So they have like the insane behavior toward Kelly for an entire year.
Yes.
The video of Kent making that stupid phone call at the hotel. The cell phone information from their personal phones. Their DNA on the drugs because they didn't wear gloves. So their mitts are all over the baggies.
Can you imagine that?
And the book, which I think they're just throwing in for fun at this point.
Kelly's attorney is just like, who does this? Is insane.
Kelly's attorney can't handle.
He cannot handle the truth.
In the beginning, he's like, "This is the most batshit crazy thing," and he's like, "Just hold on, the hot firefighter isn't here yet."
I know.
So the Easters were told, like, you'll be allowed to, have some grace and turn yourselves in, and the lawyers were like, on second thought, let's have a little fun at work today.
Yeah, the DA's like, why would we give these people any like special treatment? Go fucking get them. Go.
They haven't earned it.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're finally arrested, which is a major surprise to Kelly because she was not in the loop about any of this, and she's thrilled.
Yes.
So the whole thing is like, we're starting to ramp up to the trial, and it's like Jill's the mastermind, and Kent went along with it.
Yeah.
And then we get on-screen text of the definition of the word cuckold, which is a man whose wife is unfaithful.
Yes.
And the Easters are going to put forth a cuckold defense, which is a scheme to get Ken off the hook so that Ken doesn't get disbarred and Ken can still be a partner and make money.
Like, this is what is so insane to me, that Kent was so willing to go along with whatever his wife, I mean, he was cuckold, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the definition of a cuckold man is a man whose wife is unfaithful.
Yeah.
But, like, who, I guess, like, stays with her or whatever and, like, is abused by her, or I don't know, but, like, Kent, like, he was making millions of dollars a year, and he's willing to throw it all away to plant drugs on this woman because his wife told him to.
And he still made that phone call.
And he still recorded the audio trailer for that shitty book.
And was still like, I'm going to have a say in this, and I'm doing that accent.
I know.
Jill be damned.
I know.
I don't care.
And yet somehow it ends with him on Jeopardy. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Oh, I Googled how he did. Don't worry about it.
Oh, really?
They're like Jeopardy blogs. It's a whole thing. This is their whole defense that he's like a cuckold, right?
Yeah.
Kent Easter and Jill Easter worked together with this cuckold defense to try to ensure that Kent escaped criminal consequences. Why? Because they knew if he got convicted, he'd lose his bar license. He would lose his ability to make all that money and support the family.
Specifically to make sure that he's off the hook so that he can still make the money.
Yeah.
So it comes out in the criminal trial that Jill was having an affair with a firefighter, and Kent testified that he knew about it and he's so sad and Jill's ordering me around.
Yeah.
Now, his own defense was showing these like sexts and emails between Jill and this guy. Like this very real exchange.
Yeah, it's real. I thought it was made up. This is real.
Now, let me read you this. Can I just walk you through my thought process here?
Please.
Because I went all over the place.
Okay, great.
From fireman lover, I want to squeeze your booty.
Okay.
Friday at 1:54 in the morning.
Oh my God.
Jill Easter returns at 2:01 a.m. Will you be my sex slave? Now, my first thought immediately is Jill and Kent hate each other, or at the very least are not at all attracted to each other. They've never sent a sexy text in their lives.
Never.
This is all fake.
Yeah.
At this point, I am convinced that this whole thing was bullshit and they hired some guy to be her boyfriend.
Oh.
No, I was totally wrong.
Oh my God.
Because I was like, I want to touch your booty or whatever. Like, they don't know what sexy texts are.
Yeah.
I can show you some sexy texts. That's not what they look like, right? But it gets even more insane.
Well, now I want to see your sexy texts.
They're great. So it gets even more insane because I'm like, I can't wait for the cops to like get the info on this fake actor. That's because Kent's trying to save his job and the money, so this can't be real, right?
And BTW, just like we've had actors play Jill and Kent,
right.
The documentary has hired an actor to play the sexy firefighter.
Right. So I'm like, this has to be fake. No, it gets even more insane. So while the cops are doing surveillance, this is real. I had to rewatch it. I was like, wait, I thought this was Jill putting on a show for the cops because she knew she was being tailed.
Yeah.
No. The cops are minding their business on a stakeout.
While they were doing surveillance, they noticed a suspicious male walk up, kind of looking around, looking at the detectives that were in undercover cars. Madam pretty much figured out they were detectives, something's wrong, quickly turned around and walked away. And shortly after, they saw Jill Easter run out of the house in lingerie and then run back into the house.
Out comes Jill in her red lingerie. Now, all in front of the cops, I was like, wait, I had to go back and watch it again. Because that seems like it's all for show. Because I know this is going to trial and I got to make sure my husband...
looks like I'm cheating on him and treating him like shit.
I was like, what? And that's where Chris the lawyer's like, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction. We cannot make this up.
I know.
They will eventually... We are going to keep going, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm not even taking a breath.
We also learn...
This was like a whole sex club that was happening at Kent's house while he was at work making all the money. Some of her friends, his firefighter friends. It was like a sex house when Kent was at work.
Yes.
I am like, my throat hurts, but for the best reason. I know. The firefighter's the crux of this whole thing.
He's real.
She's running out at 11 a.m. But how does she know that he ran away from the cops? She was watching him out the window?
Probably. And this is the thing. This is why I'm saying he actually, Kent actually was cuckolded. Are we allowed to say that word? I don't know.
It's Shakespeare.
Okay, great. Kent actually was living, she was definitely really mean to him. She definitely bossed him around. He
was making the money.
Manipulated him
also,
into...
you have a kid.
I know.
Can
Luke.
you not?
I know.
Come on.
I'm with you.
It was a whole sex party.
I mean, with her friends.
Kent is
friends.
filing legal briefs.
Oh my God.
Some poor schlub doing the legal.
He's writing his own kind of briefs.
Right? Or he's not for long. So, and that was probably the inspiration for her stupid book.
Oh my God, that's right.
It's he can't be a firefighter.
It's Jill, if you just could have been cool, you could have had a fun life, girl. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Just be cool.
Don't be all uncool, as a certain countess said. So the firefighter is the crux of this whole thing. He flips. He's like, I just wanted to have some fun sex in the middle of the day. I'm not looking.
The firefighter wears a wire. He goes to the park and tries to get her to admit.
But the defense is happily look at this poor idiot.
Kent. I know.
His own defense is he didn't know what he was doing. He blindly followed Jill's. But it's he did. And he wasn't drugged.
No.
He's a shell of a man, sure. But he still walked into that hotel and put on that accent.
I know.
For half of the call. Jill's like, this is why I can't, this is why I have to do it. If you want something done right, you do it yourself.
Yep, 100%.
But he still knew what he wasn't in some fog, right?
No. And so the best part about this...
the hits just keep on coming.
They put Jill on the stand.
Because of course.
In the trial.
The first thing she did was brag about how accomplished she was and about her educational pedigree. She said, I went to the best law school of anyone in this room, which included the judge. That's how she started off her testimony.
I went to the best law school of anyone in this room, including the judge.
Okay. Now, that's her day one.
Yeah.
Now, the next day, the theatrics start.
Yes.
Suddenly, there's a hubbub in the court.
Yep.
You can kind of feel, something's going on. There's new information. Jill Easter suddenly needs an interpreter because
she's deaf.
Jill Easter is now deaf.
She's now deaf.
Do you know that I know someone who faked hearing loss?
You do?
Yes.
Why?
Attention.
Oh, God.
But now my father has hearing loss that is progressing.
Yeah.
My grandfather always had severe hearing loss. For the entire time I knew him, he eventually lost his hearing completely. Don't fake that shit. Because it's super disrespectful to everyone in the court, to the hard of hearing community, to the deaf community, to the lawyers, to Kelly. It's just the jurors. Don't do that shit.
Don't worry. She only does it for about 15 minutes.
Jill Easter is now deaf. The entire school knows her. The entire town knows her.
Yeah.
She's been speaking to police. She insulted everyone in this very room 24 hours ago. And now she's deaf until she's in the hallway with her stupid husband. And she's very clearly not deaf.
In front of the jury.
And the jury's like,
the jury is out there. They hear her talking to him.
And he no interpreter.
No.
And I know that you can't, but it's very clear that Jill Easter is now not suddenly deaf.
No, because if she had gone deaf overnight, she'd be in the fucking hospital.
Also, the firefighter's like, she was never deaf.
No.
She doesn't have hearing loss of any kind.
No, absolutely not.
People are like, I've known her 20 years. She's never mentioned anything about being having any hearing.
No.
What are you talking about? It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we get to the verdict.
Kent and Jill Easter were charged with felony false imprisonment. They were charged with 2 counts of conspiracy and conspiring to have her falsely imprisoned.
And conspiring to have Kelly falsely imprisoned.
Now, Prosecutor Chris hates them.
Yes.
He's like going on a rant. They're bullies. They're entitled.
Well, and he's saying it was important to have felony charges because they're attorneys, and attorneys are supposed to keep people safe. These are bad, bad people who need to be disbarred.
And they harassed Kelly for no actual reason.
Correct.
There was no real reason to do this. They sued her. They put her through hell. He's like, they should be disbarred. I'll be the first person. So Jill served 120 days in jail, and Kent served 180.
But did they get disbarred? They don't tell us.
They don't tell us that.
I mean, what?
Well, I think they did, because I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
So they immediately get divorced.
Yeah.
But they're both still living in Orange County.
Yes.
Jill, the prosecutor's like, Jill's changed her name countless times. I don't know what the hell she is now. Ava Bjork.
Right, Ava Bjork.
Whatever, from the House of Bjork, whatever. But now there's a civil case.
Yes.
And Ken Easter has decided to represent himself. And I love when they do this. Even when they're lawyers, it doesn't go well.
It's this where Kelly is suing them. Kelly's suing them for damages.
And now the grift this time is that Kent is a literal poor sad sack.
He's trying to make himself look as poor as possible.
Like he's showing up in a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
At one point, Kelly's like, he dressed like Mr. Rogers. And I'm like, let's kindly leave Mr. Rogers out of this.
I couldn't agree more.
I
couldn't agree more. But they're saying he's got a dozen tailored suits in his $1 million home, but he's showing up not wearing a belt, looking disheveled, wearing the same blue sweater every day.
It didn't work.
No.
Because Kelly got $5.7 million in damages.
Yes. Well, she was awarded $5.7 million in damages, but her own attorney is damages are only good if the person has the money to pay. And like fucking Trump, the guy does everything he can to hide his assets. He literally tries to give his multi-million-dollar house
$4
to
million
his father-in-law, but Kelly's attorney is able to get the house and sell it and give Kelly the money.
And they were like, it was nowhere near $5.7 million.
Yes.
I don't know who appraised
But
that
then
house.
it cuts to Kelly, and God love her, because she's saying
I paid off my attorneys. I got everyone paid off, which felt really good because I had a team of people holding me up the whole time. And they got paid, and that was important to me.
These people were with me day in, day out for a year. They kept me saying, I just want to go teach little kids. That's all I care. I just want to be a substitute teacher.
Right.
You know?
She just wanted this to be over.
Yes, and she wanted to pay the people that helped her, which she was able to do.
Jill wanted this to go on forever, and
Yes.
Kelly just wanted to have a life.
Yes.
And be a nice person. So these two didn't care. No remorse. It's so weird. It's such an insane story. What is the point of taking it this far?
I know.
I just don't understand it. Because Kelly's what does he think? He's smarter than everyone? Everybody. Cut to 2021. Kent Easter is on Jeopardy.
Oh, my God.
He's a management consultant
Uh-huh.
from Orange County, no longer a lawyer.
Disbarred, I would imagine that.
Right. Yes, of course. He did not win. He left in second place with $4,800. And the guy, he was fighting. He was playing against the guy who was the reigning champion for several weeks.
Oh,
so
wow.
It could have been an upset, but it wasn't.
Oh, wow.
But it was probably upsetting for Ken. I hate Ken.
Oh my God, girl. What is this called? It has 10 titles.
It's called True Crime Story, Smug Shot. And this is the revenge of the PTA mob. But you'll be hearing more of these for sure.
It was really good.
Oh my God.
It was wild. It was absolutely wild.
Zany and unpredictable, as they say.
Fam, I've been saying this. Follow our social media. Aaron, our social media director and friend, is taking our really funny moments and putting them out on TikTok and Instagram and making them really cool videos.
What he does is magical.
It's some of the best content I've seen. It's unreal.
The graphics are so funny. He's zooming in.
I know.
So good.
It's at True Crime Obsessed Podcast on TikTok and Instagram.
Yes.
Come and follow us there.
Yeah.
And join the Facebook group. Get in there, meet your other TCO pals, and that's where you get all the information on all the stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
What are we doing next?
All right, so Friday, tomorrow on Patreon, Natalia Grace Season 2, our episodes 3 and 4 is dropping on Patreon tomorrow. Tuesday on the regular feed, you're getting Sex, Lies, and the College Cult, which is about the Sarah Lawrence thing.
Yep.
And then soon enough, you're going to get another bonus one. We like surprising you and keeping you on your toes, so we'll figure that out.
After Natalia Grace on the Patreon, we're doing Twin Flames, and then we're doing
Quiet on Set.
Quiet on Set.
Yeah.
Holy schmoly.
We got a lot, and we got a lot going on for
Yeah.
you. So we will see you over on the Patreon or see you wherever. I don't know. We'll see you in our hearts.
In our hearts and in our
hearts.
dreams.
We love you.
We love you, fam.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Who is Larry Ray? Nobody really knows.
Larry Ray is a multifaceted human being. A lot of political connections. This perfect dad. Larry Ray now is accused of running a sex cult for over a decade.
It was about using sex as sort of a tool to destabilize them, make them uncomfortable. It was a tactic.
His entire world was based on a fraud.
Clearly, something wrong is being done to her by this guy.
He's creating a whole new reality.
which is what most cults end up doing. They just couldn't take it anymore.
Crazy.
She also looks just like Jodi Arias.
Does she?
Yes. At one point, I thought it was Jodi Arias. I was like, whoa, it was freaky.
Gross.
I know.
Dr. Phil was on my screen. I wasn't really looking. Taking notes diligently. But
Yeah, not looking. Weeds was a great show.
It was good.
It was
I
a
think
really
it
good
kind
show.
of went off the rails. I think it's one of those shows where it started great.
Yeah,
and then it
I
was kind of
think
like, what
we
are doing?
stopped watching it too, but like the first couple of seasons were so good.
Yeah, she's
I'd
great.
follow Mary Louise Parker into
She's
hell.
great. Yeah. Nancy Botman.
Anyway.
It's awesome.